to figure out why I did my gavel. Okay, it's AC at 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order.
Okay.
Call this meeting of Timberville Town Council to order. September 10th, 2020. AC, please go through the authority to conduct a meeting electronically, please. And AC, we're coming up probably, are we coming up on the 6-month mark? When is that?
We
approved it. When did we approve it? It wasn't March.
It was in May 26th of 2020.
Oh, so we have to, okay, it wasn't March, it was later. Okay, cool.
Right, yeah. So yeah, you can see on the screen here, this is what gives us the authority to conduct the meeting electronically. The resolutions and ordinances were adopted at the town council meeting, special meeting of the town council on May 26, 2020. As always, we're using the Zoom conferencing platform for the meeting tonight for the meeting participants, and the meeting is being streamed on the town's YouTube channel. All the appropriate notifications were sent out, and any votes taken tonight will be conducted by roll call and will be recorded in the minutes. And I think we have everyone on here. I want to make sure. I didn't look to see.
I hadn't seen Juanita yet earlier. I don't know if she's jumping.
Juanita said she was having issues with her device and was hoping that she'd be able to get on, but she didn't. If she let me know that if she wasn't on here, that's why she was having issues with the device. So
okay, well, we can continue on since it's 7, and if she jumps on, that'll be good. Okay, as we don't have a lot on our agenda today, just a couple small items that need our attention, or excuse me, a couple items that need our attention. We'll start with approval of the minutes. Everyone received their copy of August 13th minutes. And I'm assuming that since we got a couple of days ago, everyone's had a chance to review. Is there any questions, amendments, changes to the minutes?
If there's no additions or corrections, I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Carl. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Natalie beat you to it, Sharon. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. Then we'll do a roll call vote. Carl?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
Ned?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yeah.
And Juanita's not here right now.
Oh, she just signed on.
She's popping up here. We have 4 votes. Let's give her a chance to catch up. So the minutes are approved. We'll go down next to the treasurer's report. Everyone received Melinda's treasure report with all the monies in the accounts, the loan balances, and so forth. Any questions for our treasurer as far as the treasurer's report? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on from that. You also received a copy of the park expenditures. If you have any questions with that, just give AC, Melinda, or myself a call. The only new thing on that, I think, is if there were, we updated the trash cans and stuff down at the park with something more fitting to our improvements, and I think that's really the only improvement. Is that correct, Melinda? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, awesome. And any questions for a treasurer before I move on? It's going to be a quick meeting, I think.
Back to the treasurer's report.
Yes, sir.
That's the CARES Act money that we received is under that.
Yes.
Have we been able to use any of that yet?
Yeah, I made a note that we have withdrawn $2,724.84 of that for different items that are approved to be used. Lysol, hand wipes, miscellaneous items like that, that we know that we can use that money for.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
And hey,
Yes, sir.
on that CARES money, we've been talking a lot here in the office about the different, potentially different items that we can use it for, maybe different projects, different grants that could be made with it. So town staff has been discussing that, and we're going to be coming to the council with recommendations here real soon, hopefully with some ideas that we've come up with that we'd like to maybe have some of those that funds go towards.
That'd be good, AC. Thank you.
And that also includes the wall that we put up too. The expenses for that was included in with that. That $2,700.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, then we'll move down to bills for payment. Everyone received our list of bills. Does anyone have any questions on a line item or anything like that? If there is none, we need a motion to approve those bills.
Motion to approve.
Okay, thank you, Natalie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Carl. Any further discussion? And we'll go through the roll call. Carl.
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Natalie.
Yes.
Ned.
Yes.
Sharon.
Yeah.
And Juanita. I think we lost her again. Okay, we'll continue on. Let's see, AC, you have a public works report for us. I know you sent out a list shortly before the meeting.
Right, I just sent that out just a few minutes ago. Sorry for the delay on getting that out to everybody. I'm trying to think if there's anything in particular I wanted to point out. The contractor was out today working on the water line project over off of between Lone Pine and Legion Hills. So trying to get that finished up. The only other thing I can think of off the top of my head is that the police department recently went through, there was a software program that they found that Michelle used to create town IDs for our officers. And they turned out really nice. So we went ahead and had IDs created for all of our full-time employees. So in case we've never really had much issue with it. But if our employees, say our public works employees have to go out in the field and they have to go up to a house, they have an official town ID now that they can show if anybody has any questions as to whether they're legitimate or not. So Michelle did a really nice job with getting those produced.
And I guess the other one is we're starting on the memorials over at American Legion Park.
Right, that's right. And let me throw this up on the screen here. So we have found the right one. Let's see. So here's the plan. Does everybody see the plan for American Legion Park? This is the master plan that council adopted. I had it zoomed in a little bit there. So you can see on number 4 here, that's the Memorial Plaza at the American Legion Park. And we've been talking to the American Legion Post. What they would like to do, their goal, and which is turned into our goal also, is to have this component of the American Legion Park completed prior to Veterans Day, November 11th, because the American Legion Post would like to have a dedication ceremony on that day. And so this was just how the planners had drawn in the concept of the Memorial Plaza. And here's what we've come up with as far as what the plaza will the actual placement of things, dimensions, all that for the plaza. And we've had some very generous donations that have gone towards this already. And Mr. Mayor, you can
Okay.
you can kind of remind me of how much it was. I don't remember exactly what the price tag was on the actual marker, which is down here. This is going to be a new piece. These are the two existing memorial components that are already down at the park, sitting over close to the property line between the park and the school. And these will be moved over to that other new location for the Memorial Plaza. And the American Legion Post is going to take care of getting these moved. And then this is the new marker that the American Legion Post is going to provide. And
that was the one that was on the wall in the council chamber for a long time.
Right, with all the different branches of the armed services, their insignias on there. And that was $15,000 plus for that marker, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? I
don't remember the amount, if it was combined with it, but it was rather expensive to have made, and they covered all that cost.
Right.
And also this helps us complete the agreement we had with the American Legion of moving the monument, giving the fire pit, putting in a fire pit and things like that. So when AC talked about generous donation, Superior Concrete, excuse me, has stepped up to provide the I would say dyed stained concrete at no cost. They're covering all that cost. Cargill has stepped up to provide money for the flag poles. There's gonna be 2 benches on this, and the retaining wall, so to speak, around the fire pit. So they've donated $3,000 to cover all that. We got confirmation that yesterday afternoon around 2 or 3 o'clock. So basically, the work crew will start excavating probably starting Monday. It was laid out today. They'll start Monday. And the one thing the town needs to do is contract a finisher to take care of the concrete. And we'll start looking at that after the ground is excavated. So right now, the way we're going, getting it done by Veterans Day should be no problem, but we want to stay ahead of the curve and make sure we get done in time. That covered, AC, I think?
I think you did. That's a perfect summation of what's gone on so far.
Right. And then the other thing that we're working on too is the work crew. If you remember that we also want to install a door in the stables area so people can retire older flags. And that's going to be on the end of the stables right there where AC is pointing. The talented crew of Chris's actually cut it out of metal plate, weld it together and have it ready. I found a person who can take it to an automotive shop and have it sprayed professionally, and another person will letter it for us. So we're in the process of getting that done also. And I think that's the park updates right now. I think AC.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Donations. Okay. Any questions, anybody?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Would it be possible to do like a GoFundMe, some type of fundraiser to cover the cost of finishing the concrete?
I'd have to leave that to AC. I don't know how that sort of thing works, Ned. Yeah. Hey, Ned, I'll talk to Cecilia and see what we can come up with on that.
Okay.
And once we figure out the cost associated with it, we'll figure that out, Ned. That's a good idea.
Okay.
I think that's all for Public Works, AC. The guys are really working hard, and the ladies in the front office are we're keeping them busy with ordering things and finding things and just taking care of the things they deal with up front. Absolutely. One last note on Public Works. We've talked for a couple months, different public hearings that we've kind of put off. We thought we might be able to get back in person. So
what we're going to do is I told Melinda to remind me for next month that we're going to go ahead and schedule the public hearings. The one was for the sale of the water tank. It seemed like there was, and one of the other things is that we've still been working with Mark and Quentin's office on the updating of the town ordinances. So Mark got his comments back and we're going to go through those and hopefully have that ready. So that we can have the public hearing for the sale of the water tank property and for the ordinance book update at next month's meeting, whether we're in person or whether we're doing this electronically. It's no use to put things off anymore and just kind of wait on in-person meetings, because as we've seen with the pandemic, Harrisonburg, the area with the spikes in the number of cases again, and with the schools coming back into session, the public schools come back into session, even though they're meeting electronic, but we'll see how things go. But we're going to go ahead and get those public hearings scheduled for whichever way we meet.
And no one has a good feel when we'll be allowed to come back in anyhow, so you might as well get it done now instead of keep putting it off. So that's
Right.
a good. That's a good idea. You said. Okay. Go
I
ahead.
can interject really quick.
Yes,
We
sir.
also need to do a public hearing related to the ordinance that the chief wants, related to the trespassing that we talked about briefly at last meeting.
Oh, yes, that was in the
'Cause
minutes.
that'll be yeah, because that's going to be a new ordinance. So if we're going to do those public hearings, it makes sense to do all three. We can schedule all at the same time.
That'll work. Thank you, Quinn. Okay, then AC, I guess we'll go down to the finance portion where the personal property tax relief percentage needs to be established. And
Okay.
if everyone went through it, last year's was 42 to stay within the same area we are. Currently, it'll have to be between 37 and 38% is AC's recommendation. The revenue's about a few hundred low and one's the revenue's a little bit higher. So we just need to decide if we want to stick with 37 or 38. Correct, AC?
That's right. Does anybody have any, personal property tax relief is always a beast to try to explain. So if anybody has any questions that you didn't understand in the memo I sent out, please feel free to ask, and either I'll try to explain it or Melinda can try to explain it. It's just not the easiest thing to try to wrap your head around. So
yeah, I mean, you explained it pretty well. I mean, many years ago it was set at a certain dollar amount. As the town grows, the relief gets spread amongst more and more cars and more personal property. So
right.
As the town grows, the tax relief gets a little bit lower each time.
That's right.
Okay.
So
Anyone
what-
have any
what is
suggestions?
the number that you're recommending, AC?
I believe in that memo I said 37%.
Okay.
Then I would move that we adopt that at 37%.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt at 37%. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is that you, Natalie?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none. We'll do a roll call vote. Carl?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
Ned?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yeah.
And Juanita? Still not working, but I'm sure she's hearing us. Okay, that's all I had on the agenda, AC. Is there anything that you can think that we've missed? It's a quick meeting.
I don't have anything else unless council has any questions on anything. As you know, there's some properties that we're trying to address around town, getting cleaned up, things like that. And we're working very diligently on some of those in particular.
I have a question.
Don, I have a museum report.
A what?
A museum, the plane.
Oh, okay, museum report. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, from July 2nd to August 31st, we had 148 volunteer hours, 165 visitors, and the museum membership is now at 121.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Sherry. Melinda, did you get all that?
Thank you.
Okay, Natalie, did you have something also?
Yes, I saw that the Timberville PD is on, and I just wanted to see if they wanted to give us a quick update. I know it's been kind of tough for them probably recently, and if there's anything they need from council.
Okay.
I have kind of a bad connection there, Don. Can you repeat her question for me?
Just basically, you have any update for the council, I think, with Natalie's?
So the ordinance issue around Virginia, I'm sure Austin's kept y'all up to date. So that's just another example of the police department and the rest of the town employees kind of working together with all our resources to make things happen. It's a kind of a big situation, but I think it's a great example of everybody working together. So thanks for that. I just spent 3 days at an executive retreat with the academy. And of course, we're talking about changes that are going on with the legislature right now in their special session. So there's some things that could be kind of troubling from a liability standpoint, qualified immunity, if you're keeping up with that, and some other things. So I would ask that everybody kind of pay attention to what's going on in the special session with the legislature, because it could have a huge impact on not just how we do business, but the cost of doing business and law enforcement. So trying to keep up with that and some other changes that are going on right now. Otherwise, we have new officer who's working really hard, doing a great job, and a new sergeant who's been doing a stellar job. So everybody's working hard.
Chief, I just saw that it looks like that bill for qualified immunity was killed in committee and can't be back up for any discussion until January.
Well, that's good. So we talked about that actually this morning, and at that point it was still in the Senate committee. So I'm glad to hear that got killed. That's a conversation for another time. It's something that's very misunderstood by the general public.
Yeah, if you need us aware of any of those issues, just bring them up so we know how to support you best.
Okay, very good. Appreciate that. That's a good point.
Thank you, Natalie. Anyone else have anything to bring up at this time? Well, thank you everybody for attending. This meeting is adjourned.